Today, we're finally diving into a game that's been stirring up quite a bit of buzz, Visions of Mana. It's the latest entry in the Mana series, a franchise that's known for its classic JRPG charm and beautiful art style. But after 15 years without a mainline entry, can the game entice new players to join in on the adventure, or is this a labor of love to the classic JRPG genre? Is this one worth your time? Let's find out. What's up, everybody? My name is Denny, and welcome to my Visions of Mana review. So first things first, what is Visions of Mana all about? It's an action RPG that blends the nostalgic elements of the Mana series with some modern twists. You've got your party of characters, each with their unique abilities, a vast world to explore, and of course, some epic boss battles. The story revolves around, you guessed it, the legendary Mana Tree and the quest to restore balance to the world. Now, the Mana series has always been about that mix of magic, nature, and a little bit of whimsy, and Visions of Mana definitely keeps that spirit alive. You'll find yourself journeying through lush forests, mysterious ruins, and bustling towns, all brought to life with vibrant, hand-painted visuals, but more on that later. First, let's talk about what this game does really well. Let's talk about what Visions of Mana gets right. The art direction is absolutely gorgeous. The hand-painted environments are a feast for the eyes, and the character designs are top-notch. It really captures that fantasy vibe that the Mana series is known for. The music? A banger as always. It's got that perfect blend of whimsical and epic that keeps you engaged throughout the journey. One of the standout features for me was the world design. Each area feels distinct, with its own atmosphere and set of challenges. The forests feel alive with creatures and hidden paths. The towns are bustling with NPCs and side quests. And the dungeons, well, they're full of secrets waiting to be uncovered. The attention to detail in the world building is something that fans of the series will definitely appreciate. Combat in Visions of Mana is another strong point. It's fluid, responsive, and each character brings something different to the table. The ability to switch between characters on the fly adds a nice layer of strategy, especially in the tougher encounters. Plus, the game introduces some cool mechanics like elemental weaknesses and combo attacks that keep things fresh even after hours of play. And let's not forget about the RPG elements. The game offers a decent amount of customization, from upgrading your weapons to crafting new gear. It's not the deepest system out there, but it's satisfying enough to keep you engaged as you progress through the story. Plus, collecting materials and hunting for rare items add an extra layer of challenge for those who love to explore every nook and cranny. But, and there is a but, Visions of Mana isn't without its flaws. For starters, the story feels a bit, well, generic. It's not bad, but it doesn't really stand out either. If you've played other JRPGs or even previous Mana games, you'll probably see a lot of the plot twists coming from a mile away. The characters, while charming, don't quite have the depth that I was hoping for. They fill their roles well, but there's nothing that really makes them memorable. Another issue is the pacing. The game has some moments where it really drags. There's a bit too much backtracking, and some of the side quests feel like filler rather than meaningful content. It's the kind of thing that makes you wish the game was a bit more focused. I found myself losing interest in some sections, especially when I had to revisit areas multiple times with minimal new content to experience. And speaking of things that could be better, the user interface can be a bit overwhelming at times. There's a lot of information to take in, and it's not always presented in the most intuitive way. Managing your inventory, tracking quests, and even navigating through the menus can feel like a chore, especially when you're in the middle of an intense battle or deep in a dungeon. A bit more polish in this area would have gone a long way. So let's break it down. On the good side, Visions of Mana delivers on the beautiful art style, engaging combat, and a world that's a joy to explore. The music is on point, and the RPG mechanics, while not groundbreaking, are solid enough to keep you invested. But on the flip side, the story doesn't quite hit the mark, the pacing can be slow, and the UI needs some serious improvement. If you're a fan of the Mana series, or JRPGs in general, there's a lot to love here. It's not going to redefine the genre, but it's a solid entry that does justice to its roots while offering enough new elements to keep things interesting. But if you're looking for a game with a deep, complex story or cutting-edge mechanics, you might find Visions of Mana lacking in those departments. So where does that leave us? Visions of Mana is a solid entry in the series. It's beautiful to look at, the combat is fun, and it hits that nostalgic note that fans of the series will appreciate. However, the story and the pacing hold it back from being truly great. It's good, but not quite up there with the best of the best. If you're a fan of the series, or you're just in the mood for a charming, albeit slightly flawed action RPG, it's definitely worth checking out. But if you're looking for something groundbreaking, you might want to temper your expectations. If you're on the fence about picking up Visions of Mana, here's a few comparisons that might help. If you enjoyed games like Secret of Mana or Trials of Mana, you'll likely find a lot to love here. The gameplay feels familiar, but with enough new twists to keep things fresh. On the other hand, if you're into modern action RPGs like Tales of Arise, you might find Visions of Mana a bit too old school in its design. For those who enjoy a good mix of exploration, story, and combat, Visions of Mana sits comfortably in the middle. It's not the most challenging game out there, but it's got enough depth to keep you engaged for a good 20 to 30 hours, depending on how much side content you decide to tackle. And that's it for today's review. What did you think of Visions of Mana? Are you planning to pick it up, or have you already played it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your fellow gamers. Until next time, keep gaming, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.